Good morning, everybody. It's me, the CPS Scholar, joining to you today on this good Sunday morning, hoping that this video finds you blessed, happy, and healthy. And I'm here for another episode of Put a Ring on It. It's episode 5 of season 3. And baby, let's see, what was the name of this episode? Let me dump it in here. I just wing it sometimes, y'all. I just decided to come talk to you guys about something. So let's go ahead. And the episode is episode 5, Double Your Pleasure. Like double mint gum, right? More chicks the merrier, more guys the merrier. I guess that's their motto in this show, and that is the premise of the show. Going out on dates to see if you want to leave or to put a ring on it. So this episode was super duper crazy. That explains the thumbnail that you see down on the bottom, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. And that was my mood for this whole episode because of the ratchet and craziness that was going on. But before we get into that, let me go ahead and hit you guys with the intro. Let's hit you with your intro real quick. And, I always end up bopping during the intro. Something about the music. I don't know. If you know me, you know I love music. So here we go. I told y'all it makes me do a little jig every time. But either way, as the intro says, this channel is for reactions, reviews, and grown-up conversations. I may drop in later tonight because there's a lot of topics that I want to put my 2 cents on, and I would love to hear what you guys have to say about it. But like I said, we're here for Put a Ring on It. And baby, some things that I learned from this episode were stop sliding in bitches' DMs. Yes, 2 minutes past I can cuss. Okay, stop sliding in bitches' DMs and acting like you don't know what's going on. Don't run up on girls from Detroit if you don't got those damn hands. And stop looking desperate right after you broke up with somebody. Some of these dates were desperate looking, acting crazy. There was romances being formed that didn't make any sense. Right? And this episode was wild. And one girl, you guys were looking at Shay and saying Shay was crazy, but one girl came out of her bag, rightfully so. And on a more serious note, if you are in a relationship and you feel like you can't escape safely, please call and look for help. There are resources out here. We want you to get out safely. We don't want you to turn into a Lifetime movie, Dateline, any of that foolishness behind a relationship. Okay, so with that being said, this thumbnail that's being shown on the bottom is how the episode started. You know that the last episode, Shay was about to run up on the girl from Detroit, and she had that plate waiting for that ass, and she didn't want none of this. They basically escorted Shay up out of there, and she tells Fonzo, your date didn't know I could fight. She needs to know I know how to fight. And like, girl, you were just talking mad trash because you had plenty of space and opportunity to run up on that girl, but you had good sense that she had a side ponytail, like I said, and she had on the fit that she could put them hands, and she was calling you little mama, which means she was grown, which she told you, and she was gonna beat that ass like she was your mama. So it was just crazy. Shay was acting up, but Fonzo got her out of there. After it was done, these people were my mood. After all that drama, the date, I believe his name is Asar, the one with the baby braids, and Miss Side Ponytail is Hey Cherie, I believe it is. They sat down and started talking to each other because Asar is smooth. He know how to pull those ladies. He's like, "You all right, babe? You okay?" And they sat down and they did what I would have did, sat there and ate that good hibachi, and minding my damn business because nobody want to be caught up in the drama with Shay and Fonzo's silk red shirt sweating ass. So, woo! This show gets me my feelings. That's why this is a rant and not a review. So the difference between a review and a rant is I would go scene by scene in a review and a recap. Here I'm just talking about what I saw in this dang episode. So the next thing we went to was the dang on Shorty and Kenneth, which I don't understand Kenneth. I don't know why Shorty brought Kenneth's deranged ass on this show. She's the one I'm thinking trying to escape the relationship. She seems to have gotten caught up. Basically, somebody lied to her about what they had and what they could do for her. She figured it out. She had already got that good over 6 feet tall D. Not saying everybody over 6 feet got some good D, but apparently he had some because she said he was broke, tore down, a mess, and she pretty much said it. We're going to talk about it a little bit later in the episode, but she pretty much said it on this episode, and she got caught up with the deed, and now she's paying it, y'all. So either way, Shorty and Kenneth are sitting in their house, and he seems to be in a better mood. Maybe they didn't argue that day, and the date shows up, and he was relatively cute. He was short. Short. He was short. But Shorty is like 2 feet tall, so it don't even matter. But he showed up, and he was cute little dude. His name was Tavy. That was his name, Tavy. I gotta remember his name, Tavy, and he was from Orlando. And he walked in there, and Kenneth act like he was about to go on the damn date. As soon as he come to the door, he frisked Tavy and says that he used to work security. I could see that. Him working security at a club. And he gets in there, and Tavy's like, I'm from Orlando. He's like, oh snap, I live down there a little bit. This is Kenneth, and I live down there. I live in Kissimmee. He's like, oh, I played arena football. He's like, oh, I'm gonna have to see about you. He's like, what position did you play? And I think he said receiver. He was like, you kind of short for a receiver. And he was like, try to catch me then. I'm like, is y'all about to skip off? And then Kenneth took his flowers after throwing Hollywood's flowers away. I think he was more threatened by Hollywood because Hollywood was from New Orleans as well, and he feels like he's bringing a whole hot boy, no limit vibe to Shorty that she's never felt before, and somebody else who came with the same vibe. I love Hollywood. Hey, Hollywood. He was more threatened by somebody that came where he came from. But either way, he actually took the flowers from Kenneth and told Shorty he actually was gonna put those flowers in a vase versus throwing them away, right? So they end up going on their date, and he actually walks him out the door like he's the dad, and then Shorty tells him that she loves him, and he says, I love you, and they send him off on the date, and I'm like, what the F just happened here? What just happened? Shorty, you want to escape. Why are you telling this man you love him? This is the same man that stole your damn bank records. I still am convinced that it wasn't bank records. I think they didn't want to say it's that damn revenge porn stuff that people do to people, which is the most horrendous thing you could do to a person. That's why I don't send nudes. I don't do any of that crap. You ain't finna see me. If you see some nudes of me, somebody made that shit up. I Photoshop. My face is Photoshop because I do not send nudes. So either way, that's a side note. And then he's the one where when you moved, he followed you from work and went to your new house. And what? You probably let him in, gave him some, and now he lived there. Now you can't get him out. And you talk about him like a dog. But anyways, Kenneth goes on a date. And remember, in this episode, they're going to dates in the same place, right? As their significant other. In the last episode, they did Charlie and Otis and Shay. They tried to do Shay and Fonzo, but as you know, Shay acted a whole donkey at the end of the date because he didn't acknowledge her presence, right? So, that's what we're going to do. So now Kenneth meets his date. His date, her name was Chantrell, and she walked up, and I was like, Nipple, is it cold outside? Are you wearing a bra? I could see every bit of those girls. I ain't mad at you because you were cute, but what the hell? So she walked up in her cute little brown outfit, and she had some locks. I'm going to have to get some of those locks too. She was cute. She was from LA. Her name was Chantrell. The vibe she was giving when she walked up, she was like, oh, I just got out of something. Be gentle with me, kind of. And Kenneth was like, well, I'm still in something, so we'll work it out. But she gave off the I think she, in the level of thirstiness, I think she may have been more thirsty than the girl that Fonzo went out with from New York. Like, it's like, I know you guys were probably put up to this by production, but like the whole energy was off. And then Kenneth is so awkward and scary and focused on keeping Shorty that his energy on dates are very nonchalant, kooky, lurch ass, Negro, all of that. I wouldn't want to be on the date or whatever. And she was trying to make it work, which makes it come off like people are just trying to get screen time. So they flip back to Shorty. Like I said, it could be all out of order. I'm just talking about off the top of my head what I remember. They go back to Shorty, and Shorty's so worried that Kenneth is going to show up. She can't even get comfortable. She had previously said that Tavy was somewhat her type. I'm type, and I'm thinking it's because he's short. That she said somewhat. Like, he looked good, but he's short, right? So I'm like, okay, cool, Shorty. She kept bringing up that her date was gonna come up, and she said she was having a good time. I don't think she had as much connection with this dude, Tavy, as she did with Hollywood. And then what made it really, really crazy, they were sitting there talking. He orders a drink, and he says that he owns, basically goes around opening gyms, and he has two children. I think he has a 16-year-old and a 3-year-old. He kept making her laugh because he kept ordering the Pussy Galore drink, and she thought it was childish. She thought it was funny, but she kept looking over her shoulder for Kenneth, like she literally feels like this dude is gonna jump out the bushes on her ass, so she never could get comfortable. So finally, they show up with and Tavy could give zero fucks. He's like, I'm on TV. Hey y'all, mommy, y'all see me? I'm on TV. So all I know is Kenneth walks in with Santrell, and they sit down, and Santrell act like she want to get with damn Shorty. She keeps turning back, staring, making everything awkward, like girl, and telling Kenneth he don't have anything to worry about. Like, was that your old girl? Well, the dude there doesn't look as good as you. He doesn't have it going on like you, and she keeps trying to give him energy. And Kenneth straight up said, I want to go over there and kick over a plate. So like, it was like, why are we really here? What is going on? These people should not be on this show. And Sancho tries to save it by, pretty much saying, hey, focus on me. And it just didn't go that well. And Tavy was like, I'm not even worried about this dude. He was enjoying his free drink, his time on TV. And Shorty could have been there. She could have not been there because she wasn't really giving him the energy, even though he said they had a connection. I'm starting to think this connection word is I'm okay with you in a room and you have the possibility of me trying to fuck. I don't know what connection means anymore. They overuse it. They say connection. They say what's the other word they like to use? Connection is the one they killing on these dating shows. Connection just means you're cute enough that I would fuck you. That's what connection means. Oh, happy Sunday. My bad. Anyway, so it was super crazy because Santrell knew that the date was messed up because she turns to Kenneth and she's like, "Oh, I feel like we need to do a do-over or whatever." And he's like, "We'll see what can happen. We'll see what to do." You're not getting the vibe. This man is not going to give you any energy, even though you say you like to go to the club. And we learn more about Kenneth, who barely talks or has any energy. He has a daughter named Goldie from a previous relationship. And we learn a couple of more fun facts about Kenneth or whatever, but nobody cares. Kenneth, I don't know. Kenneth is a good looking dude. Apparently somebody told him making that Zoolander face is the beat that he keeps making. I don't know if that's sexy model look. You see how y'all got annoyed in those 2 seconds? Because I did it over and over and over again. That's the vibe that Kenneth was giving, and it was driving me insane. Okay, so let's move on from there. So I'm guessing because Shay and Fonzo, fake Rick Ross, and Otis and Charlie went on their date already. They did a guy scene, and it was very interesting. I love to take notes on guy scenes. And they were playing pool, and there was such a energy there that was so crazy. So they were talking about if they proposed to somebody, how would they feel if the person said no, and they basically spelled out how they were afraid of rejection and how they would move. I think Kenneth said he would join a cult if he was rejected from being proposed to. So it was like, dude, they're so afraid of rejection, but they sit up there and act like the ladies are supposed to just accept it or whatever. But what I realized is Fonzo, who's the biggest mess of them all, is giving relationship advice and telling Kenneth, he needs to get his shit together, because if he gets his shit together, then women won't have anything to say out of their mouth split to him or whatever. Because Kenneth comes off as super broke and not having a damn job. I'm not saying it's true or not. I don't know, allegedly. And then so that guy scene told me a lot of how men are afraid of rejection, how they tie their self-esteem to their job or their basically their level of income, right? So, and I mean, I'm not going to disagree with it because women are looking for security and stability. And if they don't feel safe and secure, like they're being provided for, it's going to be all off. And yes, they're going to talk to your ass like a goddamn dog. That's it. That's everybody knows this. You're not having any revelations or whatever. But it was super crazy that Fonzo would be the one to say that. But then if you think about it, it makes sense because that's how he keeps Shay, because his position as Rick Ross is supposed the manager, and his clout in the business and everything. So that is how he's keeping Shay around. That's what I feel. I do feel like Shay loves him, but I think that money helps. So either way, there was another scene. Speaking of Shay, I might have flipped the script on the scenes, but it doesn't matter. I just want to put this out there. Shay is stunningly beautiful to me. That is a beautiful lady, but she's incredibly insecure based on the shenanigans that's happened in her relationship. So Dr. Nicole in her ponytail showed up to Shay's house to have a side talk about her trying to fight old girl from Detroit. And she breaks down the fact that what triggered her was that they didn't acknowledge her. And the reason she feels so crazy about that is because he basically hasn't been acknowledging her through the whole relationship, right? And then in these internet streets, they're saying that Shay and Fonzo are already married. And she kind of explains that story. She says that they went, I guess, to Vegas to get married, and they went through the whole ceremony, and they found out that you have to have an official Vegas officiate for it to be valid. So it wasn't valid. So they decided to stay engaged, and that's when, right before the wedding, that's when a girl basically proclaimed her love and said Fonzo was the love of her life on social media, and she still was going to marry him anyway. So it was all super crazy. And she says the reason she goes so hard on Fonzo is because she knows once she's done, because they had been broken up before, and she was gone for 2 months, and she was super duper happy, excited, got to do the things that she wanted to do, but she felt like something was missing, and it was Fonzo. So I have mixed feelings about this because I've been in crazy relationships myself, and you feel like that person is your person, and you feel like you can go through hell and high water to be with them. But sometimes you put in so much that you're like, you know what, I can't even do this anymore. It's a mess. It's a mess, and you have to walk away. And that's what Shay is afraid of, that this might be the point where she walks away and she loses all she's invested in the relationship. And then Dr. Nicole tells us what we all need to know, y'all need to do when you keep trying to wreck shop, interfere. You're keeping the person from doing the actions that you need them to do so that you can gather your data and know how to proceed with them. Let the person do what they're going to do and then act accordingly. And I struggle with that as well. So I totally related to this episode and the advice that Dr. Nicole gave Shay, and also the place that Shay was in. But anyways, she's a pretty girl, very insecure, and it's making her look crazy as hell on TV. Okay, next. Let me see what we remember. So then we go to the group session, and that group session was intense. It was intense. So Dr. Nicole goes and asking about the date, and about these dates. And I noticed by the end of the episode, they didn't even say if they were going on a second date or not because it went so left. So they start talking to Shorty and Kenneth, and I actually had an iota of sympathy for or empathy for Kenneth, who to me is a lifetime stalker. So either way, Shorty starts talking about Kenneth, and she talks about him like it was so uncomfortable that the other couples were like, holy crap, everybody started looking down. And I swear Kenneth started taking, like, he wanted to go off on Shorty's ass in the room, but there was a room full of people. And that's what let me know that Shorty is using this as an exit strategy, similar to another young lady that did it on Family or Fiance. If you've never seen that episode, go check it out. It was a dude who was a former football player, and I think she was an OnlyFans girl, and she used the show to get the hell out of that crazy ass relationship. But Shorty sat up there, and when they were talking about the girls, the date, Kenneth was saying that, it was a homegirl vibe with Santrell or whatever, and he doesn't know if he's ever going to get to the level of attraction with any of his dates. And Dr. Nicole pretty much asked why, and Shorty interjects and says, "Well, he always tries to go to women who are out of his league. Who like he goes for top notch girls who got a lot going on for himself, and he doesn't have the same going on." And like she went in on his ass, and she probably was telling the truth, but the way she did it was like, "I'm finna take your soul. I'm stomping on those man parts." And I'm usually like, I'm against all those guys crying, saying that they're being emasculated. I think people are using the word wrong. There's being called out for accountability, and then there's somebody just making you feel like you're not a man. Two different things. But he sat there and he looked like a little boy whose mom just told him he wasn't good enough. It was insane. Everybody was like, "Oh, look, I did not my ponytail out." It wasn't held up with anything anyway. And so, pull my hair down. So it was super crazy because I just felt bad. She talked about him so bad in his face. She basically said that he wasn't on her level, that he lied about what he had going on in his life. And by the time she figured it out, she was already in love. Basically, he already used the D to touch her damn heart, and it was already over. She was already sucked in. So it was a pure D mess, y'all. Then so that was awkward as shit. Then they went to Otis and Charlie. Otis and Charlie was another mess. So Otis is talking about his date, and I think we went to yoga. Was it hot yoga? And Charlie's like, no, it was regular yoga. And then he started talking about looking at the girl tattoos on her back. And then Charlie kept like saying passive aggressive things, trying to like, oh, he's not trying to tell about his date, but he wanted to know all about mine, and emphasize that the girl looked young and all this other good stuff, right? But then Otis hit everybody with, "Oh yeah, I've been talking to her in the DMs." Like, I've been talking to her in the DMs. She knows people that I know, so I hit her up in the DMs, and Charlie lost her shit. I probably would have lost my shit too. Y'all can talk about Charlie all y'all want. I probably would have lost my shit too. Because he always dogs her out and says she's trying to talk to people. Oh, skip that part. He said seeing her on her date made him know he could trust her even when she's not in his presence. Like he's the freaking police or her dad. It was a hot mess. The whole thing was a mess. And he was like downplaying, and even Dr. Nicole was like, when you do things, there's not only is there no accountability, there's no change in your emotion or reaction. Like it's just another day. Like Otis gives me serial killer vibes. He's the quiet one that kills you in your sleep. I don't. The only dude who's not serial killer vibes is Fonzo, and Fonzo is gonna break your heart and your soul by sleeping with everything moving while you at the house. None of these dudes are good, and they're driving the ladies crazy. So they are just as bad as they're stuck up in a toxic situation. So Charlie pulled the me. So we're sitting there, and he tried to move on with the conversation like wasn't nothing wrong. And Charlie was like, "Oh, so you gonna embarrass me? You could have told me. Basically, you could have told me this at the house. You gonna tell me you been in this girl DM on television at the girl's DM? Oh, I get to find out with everybody else on TV. Oh, oh, now, Mister, I need to go shower, and I'm not gonna feed you any salmon because a man gave you flowers. Oh, not you, not Mister Perfect, not Mister. Oh no, I would have lost my shit too. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all can call me toxic all you want. I don't give a damn. I would have lost my shit on him too. The funny thing is, Shay was over there doing all the facial expressions. Shay was like, DM. I would have DM'd everybody. Because apparently she said, Charlie, I just remembered. Charlie said she was going to DM the girl to say hi. And Dr. Nicole said, what you going to DM the girl for? Oh, she talking to my man. I just wanted to say hello to see what's really good. What's really good. Like, and Otis is just sitting here like no emotion, looking perturbed. And then Charlie hit it with, like, they're trying to move on to Fonzo and Shay, and Charlie's like at his neck, like, really, motherfucker? Like, you really gonna you DM that girl? She put finger out. You DM that girl? Oh, you fucking with me? Like, she went like, I was like, oh, Charlie was all cute and put together until he tried her life because we were like, okay, she needs to be saved. She don't stand up for herself. Oh, she clicked on his ass. And then she was like, that was a deal breaker. One of our things where we were ready to, that we would not touch people and we would not communicate outside. And he broke those. And she was, Dr. Nicole was like, this is a small thing in the grand scheme of your issue. She was like, no, it's not. It's a deal breaker. I'm done. Dr. Nicole's still trying to talk. She's like, I need my keys. Give me the keys. I want to go now. And he would not give her the keys. She said, I'm ready to go. And then Dr. Nicole, she's like the most quiet, calmest woman. I wonder if she's like that at the house. But she was like, let's go to Mr. Fonzo and Shay. And Fonzo said what I said. I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to do. How are we going to proceed? And Charlie was like, nope, I'm ready to go. I want to go right now. She killed the whole episode. So that's how the episode ended. They showed the preview of her getting in her little car and leaving. And it was just a mess. This episode was a mess. None of these people belong together. Like I said, quick synopsis of why they don't belong together. Shorty thinks she's better than Kenneth. Kenneth lives off of Shorty. It's so obvious. That's why he would give a damn about her bank statements. He may be a scammer. Shout out to Bonnie Blue. And it's a mess. Then we have Charlie and Otis. Otis feels like because he's a man, he can do whatever he wants to Charlie, and Charlie just need to be sitting there and shutting the fuck up while he pay bills. And Charlie ain't going for it, so that ain't gonna work. Then third, we have Fonzo and Shay. Fonzo likes to see Shay act up. That's improve her love. I got to prove my love. I got to fight every night to prove my love, aka 5 heartbeats. And she lives in her insecurity and she wants to fight to keep all the other women away from her prize, which is Fonzo. With that being said, that was episode 5. I put a ring on it. None of these people need to put a ring on any damn thing, and it's pretty convincing that Shay and Fonzo are already damn married. Why y'all black asses on this show? And love who love you. Let may God bless you in every way that you need. And the CPS dollar is out. I'm about to get this outro. I love y'all so much, and I appreciate you dropping on my channel. Please give me a like at a minimum. Comment, let me know what you think about the couples, and if you like what I'm doing, or you like hanging out with me, hit the subscribe button. And I'm always open to content. I have to do a trailer review for one of the viewers. I got you, friends. And until next time, the CPS dollar is out.